full-on fucking Clash today. I don't want any fucking Nirvana clothes dressing up, yeah? Skrewtop Detonators, they've got it all. Youth, looks, attitude, they're a gang. All the things that are important in rock and roll. As a result of this tour, you'll potentially have major labels very keen to pick you up. Welcome. 6 o'clock, you boys are playing.
How's this? Got a band, a drum kit, more gigs.
Because it all just happens.
The Detonators in the house! Yeah!
You should be on it. It's called myspace.com.
This is the land of the fucking possible. They like nothing better than success.
How do you rate Will from the roadie scale?
He doesn't even rate.
Are you going to start doing your job properly, or are you going to just carry on being a daydreaming pussy?
Everybody treats me like shit.
We ain't gonna win.
It's not about winning though.
Yeah, it is.
I want to be at the top of the list of important things, and I knew that if he's in a band, I wouldn't be.
If you fuck it up now, you will regret it for the rest of your life.
Why would you leave the whistle ticking on the train down the track?
How would you guys feel if Will's band made it massive? That'd be fucking hilarious. Well, he needs to be more consistent with that persona, because if he's not, then he'll fail.
There is no formula. There is no guidebook of how you do this.
You've never got any money, you're always on the go.
How much does the t-shirt cost?
Just my fucking mental health, security, job prospects.
But, you know, you've got to give yourself a chance to follow your dreams.
How good is this? How'd you get this gig, Will? He was fucking my ex-girlfriend.
This lifestyle is definitely one of excess.
G'day folks, and welcome to Cinema Australia. Today I'm joined by Mat de Koning, the director of Meal Tickets. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me here, Matt.
So tell us about Meal Tickets. What's it about?
Meal Tickets is a rockumentary shot over 10 years that follows two bands, the Skrewtop Detonators and Will Stoker and his band of Embers. It's a look at kind of what it takes to have a crack in the music industry, but along the way there's some bigger lessons about friendship, loyalty, relationships, sacrifice, all the things that go along with following your dreams.
And it's a terrific documentary. Congratulations. Can you remember the exact moment that you decided or that you thought it would be a good idea to make a documentary about this journey?
Oh, look, it happens in 3 stages. In high school, we all played in bands together, so we all started kind of filming and making films back then. Lee French, in particular, the guitarist and singer-songwriter as well from the Skrewtops, was always just this cool cat that I thought, man, that guy needs to be in a film. Yeah. So that was my kind of thoughts through high school. In 2004, I was at the Hyde Park Hotel and saw Tommy Ramone with Dave Kavanagh checking out the Skrewtops. I was listening to one of their songs, looking at Dave. Dave looked at me, I was like, right, this song is rocking. So then I was like, okay, this is interesting. They have this manager who obviously has big contacts in the music industry that thinks they could be the next big thing. And then when he announced that he had a record label in New Jersey that wanted to sign the band, was going to take them on tour to seal the deal, that was the moment where I was like, right, it's happening. I'm doing this. I mean, the cameras had already been rolling, but that's when I thought, okay, this is potentially a film that I'm prepared to follow for a long period of time.
So what was your relationship like with the guys prior to filming?
Charlie Austin, the drummer, was the first person I sat next to when I got to high school. Right. Mitch was a guy I'd heard heaps of stuff about from my friend that went to that high school. Like, I went to a different high school in year 8, and then everyone was like, there's this guy, and they do that, and they skate, and they play in bands. So I was like, that's the high school I've got to go to. Ben and Charlie I was in a band with. So, yeah, best friends throughout high school, pretty much.
Great. 700 hours of footage? Is that right?
Yeah, it's up there. I mean, a lot of that's kind of gigs with 2 angles that have just been left on a tripod for a long time. Okay. Meetings that just went for ages. I mean, there was a lot of kind of fly-on-the-wall stuff. There's a lot of handheld stuff. And a lot of it also documented Matt Doust. Because at one point I thought I was making a film about 4 entities, being the Skrewtops, Will Stoker, Matt Doust and Jody Knowles. Then it kind of occurred to me that that's too big of a scope. I'd shot too much. And I thought, let's focus on music for this film,
Yeah.
art for the next one.
Okay, right.
So 700 between the two.
Right, okay. So what was the general feeling amongst the guys about having a camera in their face for this whole time?
It was second nature because we'd been doing it since year 8, year 9. Like the cameras had been rolling the entire time. Even before the film started getting made, I was there hanging out with my camera because we all skate. I mean, Mitch and I in particular, and Matt Doust, actually, we're all sponsored skaters. So filming was just part of the bag for us, which meant that when we actually started filming on tour, it was just, second nature, completely second nature. It wasn't until the later years that it was like Matt's got his camera out again. And then it did start to kind of have its burden where we'd be hanging out and then next thing you know, there's a camera and like, oh, okay, here we go. And it wasn't too often that they'd kind of kick up a fuss and say, put it away. I mean, it did happen. But yeah, generally they were good. But I had a responsibility to keep seeing the story through. I mean, that night where Lee and I go to Trig Beach, and it's this great scene in the third act. I mean, had I not have got my camera out to go to that beach, I would not have had that scene in the film. So it's just that kind of like, the filmmaker has nothing but responsibility.
Yeah. So are you that kind of guy who's always got his camera on him?
Yeah, definitely. Backpack filmmaker to the end.
That's great.
Bad back posture as a result.
The film's very raw, which I think is one of its great strengths. Was there much planning and preparation that went into the documentary prior to filming? Or was it just a matter of point and shoot?
Yeah, oh, look, it was pretty much point and shoot. It's like, I mean, when a big event happens, like when Ben's like, hey, we're recording with Charles Fisher, who's worked with like, you know, some massive acts, Olivia Newton-John and Savage Garden. I was like, okay, that's a big thing and I need to make sure I get an interview with Charles and I need to capture the process and I need to get the kind of the buzz when this is finished. That's the kind of way a documentary filmmaker's brain ticks. But no, there was seldom, rarely was there kind of pre-planning that went into this. It was just rolling with it. With the kind of subconscious mindset that, you know, you're constantly thinking about this stuff in your sleep or when you wake up or whatever. So, yeah, just aligning yourself to capture things as they unfold.
Yeah. There are some heavy moments in the film, but there's no real, you know, shocking moments like biting the heads off bats or breaking bones like Slipknot. What was one of the craziest things that you witnessed while on set?
Look, the fight, when Mitch got punched in the face, was pretty hectic. I undenied about putting that in the film because people are like, the narrative's not there. And I'm like, no, it's symbolic. They're no longer a gang and they've just been punched in the face to the backing of like one of their songs that had a different drummer that just didn't have the strength. So for me, that was kind of symbolic. A lot of stuff on tour, especially in the United States. I mean, crazy dentists who were like rich guys who were like, I have ample drugs that I've mixed with all my my dental medicine. You know, knock yourself out, boys. Wow. It's like, I think I ended up flushing that stuff down the toilet. Through to like, yeah, just girls that hung out with us, and I mean, yeah, I won't go into too much detail there, but yeah, there was definitely some crazy times, especially on tour. But then. Yeah, I don't know, man. Just the ups and downs of playing in a band and going on that kind of journey.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a look at a clip from the film now, and we'll be back after.
Meal tickets. Woo! We got hookers for you, man. We got coke, we got crack, we got some smack. We've got non-stop booze. We're going to fly you in a private jet, and we got some meal tickets. Meal tickets! Woo! I think we should go in and let people know that you're there. It's quite a fucking rock star thing to do. To like, have you got shades? Anyone's got shades? Put your shades on. Just fucking walk in, straight downstairs. Don't talk to anyone. Girlfriends, nothing.
What happened to your drummer?
Oh, he lost his passport last night when we went out drinking.
He was only here for 1 hour and he lost his passport. Nice to meet you, dudes.
Yeah,
good luck.
Make a million. Cheers. Make a million. That's what it's all about. Make a million.
Are you guys on that MySpace? There's this thing, you should be on it. It's called myspace.com. You go on there and you set up like profiles, and you can set up a profile for your band.
Oh, yeah.
And it's better than a website because more people go to it.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of like you add friends.
If I wanna get drunk, gonna get drunk. I never wanna get high. I'm gonna get high. I just wanna lose my blues.
It's fucking hard. It's really hard. Like, you never got any money. You can't do the things that all your other mates that you went to fucking high school with are doing on the weekend or doing with their lives. You're always on the go, and even if you're not always on the go, you're mentally always on the go. That's why most bands break up, because to keep that kind of mentality for so long is really hard. But, you know, you got to give yourself a chance to follow your dreams, I reckon.
Did you, as a filmmaker and an outsider of sorts of the band, how much faith and belief did you have that the band would be successful?
I thought there were chances. Like, it could have happened. It wasn't a sure thing. I never went, right, this band's definitely got it. So, yeah, it was always, let's see what happens here. Like, they're good-looking guys, they play really well, they're tight musicians. You know, were they going to write that big song, that Child of Mine, that would put them into the stratosphere?
Yeah.
That's what the journey I was hanging out for. Can they write that song? And that was what Dave Kavanagh was always pushing for.
Yes.
You need to write that song. And Charles Fisher, and that's a lesson for anyone that watches this film. You can have all of the, you know, the front and the style and play well, but ultimately it comes down to the songs.
Yeah. So the big question, what was the reaction from the band when they saw it the first time?
Well, seeing it for the first time is a bit of a blurred line. I think the first thing was when they saw the cut of the USA or Bust.
Right.
The 110-minute edit I did of the tour film. And early stages of that was like Lee and Ben hanging out at my house with our friend Naughty Glenn, having a big laugh, because it's freaking hilarious, some of the stuff that happens. But then when you're confronted with that going public, it's a different story. So I think they rolled with it to a degree, but Charlie, I tucked on like a little bit of an epilogue at the end of that, where everyone kind of gave their thoughts on what happened, because the band had broken up at this point. And I painted a pretty unfair, unbalanced side of why Charlie left the band. And when Charlie saw that, he was not too impressed. So that was a big lesson for me as a filmmaker, is the responsibility you have to ensure that things are honest and both sides are being told.
Yeah.
Then it kind of just went on and on and on, to the point where sometimes they're so sick of it that they don't want to hear about it. I mean, the trailer that we put up is a classic example. When by the time that was going to go out, a few of the guys were like, we don't even want to hear about it right now. And then the trailer goes out, and then everyone's got some issues with some small things in it. I was like, if only we had it communicated, this wouldn't have happened. But sadly it did. So it's been a burden, man. It's been a burden on everyone.
Yeah.
Getting it to this point.
And going back to Charlie, I heard that he stopped talking to you for 6 months. Is that right?
Oh, it's not that he stopped talking to me, but the friendship took a bit of a hiatus for a little while. And then when we finally did catch up, he told me why, and I understood. I understood it completely.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those lessons you might learn. But I mean, we're great friends now. We were on the phone for half an hour last night, talking about all things from the film to him getting grass on his new house, and why he's probably not going to go to a gig on the weekend because he has to save money because he has a mortgage and 2 kids now.
Right. But laying AstroTurf, is he?
He is. He's laying some turf on his new place out in Hamilton Hill, which you actually see him renovating in the film.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
You said last year, whilst Meal Tickets is a documentary, it's a documentary through the necessity that I can't write. Can you elaborate on that a little more?
Oh, look, I'm of the generation that saw Clerks and went, I want to do that. Clerks was everything to me. I've seen that film God knows how many times. Chasing Amy, love it. Kevin Smith fan through and through. But sitting there trying to write the type of film I wanted to make was never happening. Also, I mean, when I first started producing actual scripted films, the frustration of watching a DP set up for 3 hours, I was like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
So I just naturally gravitated towards documentary. And then, I guess I wasn't going to be a scriptwriter. I mean, I wrote, what small voiceover there is in this film, and I wrote the structure based on what I had. But I don't think anyone should hold their breath to see a feature-length script that I've written. I just don't think it's not gonna get there. It's not gonna cut the mustard. I'm a
Well, that's
documentary
interesting
guy.
because, the next question that I was going to ask is there a dream project that you have in mind? Is there something that you really want to make?
Well, I mean, I'm looking forward to making my next film about my friend Matt Dowse because I've been doing it for so long, the same as this one. I've been working a lot with Hank Marvin, and I'm really enjoying that. We did all the promo stuff for his new album, and the fans were loving it, and the album's cracked the top 10, so it seems like only natural that we should keep doing a bit more there.
Yes.
The fans are certainly, a lot of them hit me up on Facebook, is there going to be a film? I'm not saying there is going to be a film, but I think we'll probably keep making material. Look, yeah, to answer your question, I kind of see like 4 feature films I always have. So there's one I'm doing about skateboarding, because that's my other love.
Right.
I run a skate park business, but also just the skating is about to become an Olympic sport.
Yep.
When you look at how much funding gets put into all of these other sports, such as basketball, football, and then how many people are actually participating in wheel sports like skating, we're seriously undercatered for.
Yeah.
It's time for us to get ours. So I find that interesting and the whole culture that goes with it, and that's my roots. So I want to do a film about that. Yeah, there's a couple more on the go.
Well, you mentioned
We'll see what comes to fruition.
You mentioned the Matt Dowse documentary. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Well, Matt was like my best friend. Like all these guys were really good friends of mine, but Matt and I were kind of the always best friends.
Right.
And so Matt obviously had an undeniable talent, which kind of surfaced at around year 10, where everyone was like, well, look at the artwork that this guy's doing. So I started filming Matt in the same way I started filming the Skrewtop Detonators.
Right.
And obviously he plays a pretty big role in meal tickets, but I want to tell Matt's story as well. The talent he had, the crazy adventures we got up to, and also the ambition he had. I mean, the ambition Matt had was quite unique. I don't think I've ever met anyone that quite had it the way he did.
Right.
Tragically, sadly, he's no longer with us. But, he and I had chats. He and our friend Joe McKee had chats, and it's like, well, we will honour you. And, yeah, that's what I plan to do.
Yeah, great. So the film's screening at Revelation Film Festival this month.
Correct.
Can you tell us about what audiences can expect? Are there going to be any guests coming along?
Well, the guests will be Dave Kavanagh. You'll meet Dave in the flesh.
Yeah.
Dave, the manager in the film. A lot of the guys from the Skrewtops, 2 of the Skrewtops guys will be there.
Great.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
Will Stoker will be there.
Did I hear a rumour that he's performing, or
Will
is
is
that public?
performing afterwards. That is not a rumour. It's advertised.
Great.
Anyone that comes to the gig, to the film, come check out the gig afterwards. It's just going to be a bit of a celebration. We have the Floors playing that used to be in Will's band, and then Will's band playing. So
Right.
should be good times.
Should be a treat for everyone. Well, Matt, thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate it, and I'm sure
Cheers,
our
Matt.
viewers will too. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.
Car crash! Car smash! I'm the one with my torso slashed! You're a bloody young child with a mind like glue. She's taking the dive. I'm taming the shrew. By punching new holes, we recreate the world! By punching new holes, we recreate the world!
Dude, fuck me. To be an artist in any realm, you gotta be self-centered. You gotta put yourself up there on a pedestal and go, I'm a star. That's it. Like, I mean, that's like not just art, that's business, that's everything, that's anyone who's successful.